This is not a political question. This is not an aesthetic question. This is not NIMBYism. This is pure and simple physics. That's all it is, physics. And you need to pay attention to the physics. And you need to get expert advice. You need to get the fire marshal in here.
On November 2nd, 2022, Lloyd Rusty Day addressed Portola Valley's Planning Commission.
And thank you very much for everything you're doing, especially over the next coming 6 weeks. You've got a lot of work on your hands. And as you've said, because your time's short, it's critically important to focus on your priorities. And that's what I want to talk about, your priorities. I believe Laura mentioned that going forward, in her opinion, the priorities are density, setbacks, and height, getting those right. Density, setback, and height in this community raise the greatest fire hazard. They implicate the greatest need to get this right. And yet the fire marshal's not here. Why not? Why aren't we hearing from the fire marshal on the proposed zoning changes and the effect that they will have? CAL FIRE has identified land use, subdivision, and zoning as the most important first steps a community can take to address its wildfire hazard and risk. And yet, we're not applying the science or the learning or bringing the expertise that locally exists to advise us on how and what changes in our zoning we can make here. Your time is short. We're amending our safety element, not just our housing element. Why isn't the fire marshal here? Why aren't we hearing from him? You don't have time to waste. Let's get him in here. The reason that zoning matters for fire hazard is because the thermal energy that's released by a structure is so intense, the radiant flux and the convective flux, so great from a structure fire, that a structure that is less than 25 feet away cannot withstand it. It will ignite, no matter how hardened it is. Watch the testimony of Alex Maranghides that I sent you this afternoon. Pay attention to what he says. Understand the effect of that on our community. One structure ignites, a structure 25 feet away is going to ignite. You're going to put 9 of those together, 15 feet apart, 12 feet apart, and yet no amount of hardening can prevent the spread of fire from one structure to another. You aggregate that population on roadways that aren't sized either for parking or evacuation. This is not a political question. This is not an aesthetic question. This is not NIMBYism. This is pure and simple physics. That's all it is, physics. And you need to pay attention to the physics. And you need to get expert advice. You need to get the fire marshal in here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
To hear the testimony of Alex Maranghides that they referred to and to learn more, click the links shown here. I'm Bob Turcott. Thanks for watching, and thanks for considering.